Hey guys, it's me, Johnny Crimson 2000 here for another Let's Play, and today I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of Plasma Sword from Capcom. Plasma Sword is a fighting game. It was originally released in the arcades in 1999 and for home consoles for the Dreamcast in 2000. It's the second game in the series. The series is known as Star Gladiator. In Japan, this is actually called Star Gladiator 2. The original Star Gladiator came out in the arcades and on the PlayStation, on the original PlayStation. Anyways, this game is set in space, kind of like in the future. So a lot of the characters you'll be seeing are kind of like themed, like space themed. Or, you're gonna see some robots, some aliens, and a lot of them take cues from like the Star Wars movies. As you guys just saw there's a character that actually looks just like a Wookiee, which is all kinds of awesome. And the main character, Hayato, has a sword that looks suspiciously like a lightsaber. And in fact, a lot of people just kind of see this as, you know, Capcom's attempt at making a Star Wars game, Star Wars fighting game. And here you go, just kind of like quickly going through the roster of all of them. And I'm going to be choosing Hayato for this because he's the main character. And I'm going to be reading bios for each of these characters that I go through, and I get the bios from this great website called FightersGeneration.com, so go check it out. Anyway, this is Hayato. Hayato is a rebellious Japanese young man living on his own and caring about others, especially the children living in the orphanage in which he was raised, and his close friends June, Saturn, and Gamoth. This is Vector. Vector is a cyborg created by Bill Stein to become the ultimate killing weapon. He implants a program to make the robot self-evolutionary and unleashes the robot to test it. Should Vector prove successful, Bill Stein will then unleash an army of Vectors to destroy anything against him. So anyway, this is the gameplay footage. As you guys can see, it is a 3D game, but it plays a lot like a 2D game. What I mean by that is that it's a 2D game, as in, you know, when you use the directional pad, you can only go back, forth, you know, crouch, and jump. And there's a specific button dedicated to moving back and forth between, you know, moving around your opponent's stuff to kind of fit into the 3D aspect of it. But really, it's kind of like a 2D game with 3D graphics and, you know, a 3D element thrown here or there. You still have your, you know, quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, input commands for the specials. And I'm going to be talking about the specials in a little bit, but as you guys can see, you have a level gauge down there at the bottom. You can fill it up to 3 times, so that means every time you use a special, a super special, you know, deplete 1 level. So you can ultimately use 3 specials at a time. Anyway, I took care of Vector because he's a punk C-3PO lookalike. And this is Eagle. Eagle's kind of cool. Eagle is a man who used to work at, oh god, Garakuem Amusement Park with a pair of artificial wings. The tyranny Bill Stein caused motivated him to become a hero of justice, and he expresses it in a typical superhero fashion. Wishing to be like Zelkin, he snapped and went searching for Bill Stein, believing that he could be as great as his hero. So basically his thing is that there is another character on this game called Zelkin. Zelkin is a bird creature, bird alien creature, who, you know, is a warrior, and Eagle here is actually a human, but he dresses up like, you know, the bird species that Zelkin is, trying to be like him. But anyway, as you guys just saw right there, Eagle kind of did this thing where he had like a sphere encircling him, and what that is, it's called a plasma field. Plasma fields, you guys saw me do it against Vector. Basically, if that orb hits your opponent, you'll go into this like extra room where your character like gains a special ability. In my case, when I did it in the last match against Vector, I gained like my sword got really big, and I was able to, you know, hit Vector from a really long ways. Each character has their own. Well, actually, that's not true. With the thing with Plasma Sword is, like most 3D games, you have a lot of like clone characters. As you guys saw on the character select screen, there were 2 rows. There was the top row and the bottom row. The top row is like the regular characters, and the bottom row you can kind of see it as them being like their clone characters. So for somebody like Hayato, Hayato is the main character, and his like clone or double or whatever is Black Hayato. They have similar moves. They have the same plasma field thing. So Black Hayato also gets like a big sword. The only difference really is some particular tweaks here or there with their movesets and their supers. Anyway, this is Rain. Rain is Bilstein's ambitious daughter who wields ice powers and a plasma scythe. She was sent by her father to capture all the male plasma masters and imprison them at Bilstein's lair. Later, her father planned to use their DNA, Hayato in particular, and impregnate his daughter, making her mother of new human beings. Beings who would hypothetically have unstoppable plasma power to the point of easy world domination. If she succeeds, her mission is in subduing Hayato. Rain will give her father's plan. Anyway, I think there's a typo. Anyway, yeah, Rain is Bilstein's daughter. She's evil, but doesn't look evil, I guess. That's what I get from her. And she uses a scythe. And I find that all kinds of awesome, because usually when you think of somebody using a scythe, you think of, like evil and death, and here's this sort of princess-looking character and using ice powers, which I think is awesome. I also didn't mention, this is I consider it as kind of Capcom's attempt at making a weapons-based fighting game. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything else from Capcom that really employs weapons. And here you can see Rain's kind of plasma field attack. She'll just like, her scythe gets kind of bigger, I think, and all her attacks, if they connect, they freeze you, so kind of have to watch out for that. And I really like the soundtrack of this game. I know you probably can't hear it because I'm talking over it like, come on Johnny Crimson 2000, I want to hear the music. But if you guys just go online, look up Star Gladiator 2 OST, so that's for original soundtrack. These songs are amazing. I really like them. So go check that out. Anyway, this is Ele, or however you want to say it. Ele is a mysterious young girl who traveled from a distant future. She was taught how to fight by her mother and fights with halo weapons. In her time, Bilstein's ghost, who was obsessed with his hunt for Hayato, attacked Ele's home. The status of her father is unknown, but her mother died during the incident. As she has a time limit of how long she can stay in the past, Ele hurries to vanquish Bilstein's ghost and prevent the event from ever happening. And in the storyline, if you guys follow that, it's very heavily implied that Ele is actually Hayato's daughter, and Ele's mother is June, who is another character. And in fact, during the story mode of this game, as Hayato, you're actually looking for June because she was captured. So I thought that was kind of cool. Ele, and of course, is kind of like June's clone character of her. She fights with rings, which I really like. I think there's like a character in Soul Calibur 3, or she might be in 4 as well, who also kind of fights with this ring thing. And I thought that was awesome. Maybe they took a cue from this game. But Ele is really cool. The thing about Plasma Sword is that the characters in this game, I find them to be really awesome. They're really unique, really colorful. But for whatever reason, Capcom just doesn't use them very often. The only games they were featured in were, of course, Plasma Sword and Star Gladiator with their own series. And they were also used in SNK's Card Fighters Clash series. But that was a card game. That wasn't really a fighting game. And Hayato was the only character ever to make it to a versus game. He was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which I thought could have used more Plasma Sword characters. It fit right in. Anyway, this is Shaker. Shaker is one of the many clones of Blood who strangely shares his progenitor's levitating arm and plasma blade. The group of clones bicker over the identity of which one of them is the original. This Shaker sets out to prove who's the original. And here we get a little bit of story, so I'm going to be reading that. Where is she? Talk! June, of course. Ha, a pity. You scum. She's with Bilstein and still breathing for now. Hee. And Shaker's annoying because he likes to disappear all over the place. Can get really annoying. But anyway, as I was reading the the bio, Shaker is actually a clone of another character whose name is Blood. As you guys can kind of guess it already, they're clones of each other. As far as gameplay, I just noticed that they're clones of each other, gameplay-wise and story-wise. Johnny Crimson 2000 made it funny. But yeah, he's pretty cool actually. He has a levitating arm. He has like this whole punk rock, undead Marilyn Manson looking thing going on. I kind of find it really cool. But yeah, like I said, they don't, for whatever reason, Capcom just doesn't use any other characters from this game very much. And that's true for a lot of games, especially in the Versus series. Oh my god, like they stick to what they're comfortable with, and what they're comfortable with is Street Fighter. And believe me guys, I like Street Fighter as much as the next guy, but good god man, there's only so many times where I can just pick the Street Fighter 2 characters and just like get bored. Like, I love you, Ryu, but share the spotlight, man. And I could go for an entire rant of like what I think about Capcom and their use of their characters, but I think I'll save that for another video. Maybe make an entire video of me just ranting. Anyway, this is Geralt. His full name is Frankel Geralt. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Geralt was captured by Bill Stein and had a bomb implanted, forcing him to join the Fourth Empire. He committed heinous crimes against humanity, and even when Bill Stein was defeated, he hesitated to return to his family. However, Claire's sacrifice and his wife and daughter's love convince him that everyone can be forgiven. So yeah, Geralt is kind of like a matador. He sort of has that, style to him. He's very like, stands up straight. I don't know how to explain it. And he fights with this thing that kind of looks like the sword that matadors use when they're fighting the bull. And his whole thing is that he was kind of forced to align himself with Bill Stein. Bill Stein, of course, as you guys kind of guessed it, I haven't really talked about him. He's like the bad guy of the series. And he had a bomb implanted in him, which kind of, when I first heard that, all I could say was like, well, if he has a bomb inside him, why in the world are we fighting him? It's like, if I stab him with my lightsaber, isn't he gonna blow up? So I don't know. Oh, crazy Capcom, you don't make any kind of sense, but we love you. Anyway, the stages kind of have this Tekken 3 look to them. Like, the stages are 3D. The plane where we're fighting are 3D, but the backgrounds are flat, if you haven't noticed. But I took care of Geralt, and we all blow up. But anyway, guys, this has been part 1 of my Let's Play of Plasma Sword. Look out for part 2. And, yeah, I'll see you guys later.